Welcome, beautiful souls, back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over what you need to know about this Cancer new moon that is happening on July 5th, 2024, how it will affect you 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. In this video, I'm going to be going over the energy update, the numerology angel number meeting, as well as plant medicines to work with during the moon cycle. So I'm super excited to get into this video. Before we get into it, make sure you let me know down below how you're feeling. Is there any cancers in the house? Another thing I want to share is I want to invite you to the breath work that we're going to be hosting on this day from 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can go and register down below. This is a beautiful 3-hour new moon ceremony where we hold space for each other. We come into community. We do a somatic breath work, which I'll be guiding you with beautiful medicine songs, set our intentions for this new moon in Cancer, and an integration circle as well to really meet and tune into what is the medicine that this Cancer new moon is bringing for you. So you can go and register down below, as well as beautiful, exciting, amazing plant medicine retreats that I would highly suggest you go check out on my website and apply. Go to the link down below to apply for one-on-ones and as well as retreats. And yeah, I'm really excited to get to connect with you in ceremony. So many exciting things. So go check it out on the website. Okay, let's get into this. I am so lit. I am with such deep gratitude. I am so happy that I get to hang out with you. I am sending you all this deep energy as I just finished a beautiful, beautiful container for the Divine Dharma retreat. And I think this new moon is a perfect time to do this energy update with you all. So the first thing about this Cancer new moon, and I love Cancers, honestly, they're the most nourishing beings. They just have this innate parent energy in them. We're gonna get into that in a little bit, but let's talk about this new moon in Cancer. So this is all about nesting at home and the need of comfort. Your biggest word for this new moon is understanding comfort, right? And it's interesting because I just had an energy healing and a client call with one of my clients talking about the difference between comfort and peace, and how a lot of us actually create this sense of comfort in our life and we misplace it as peace. We misplace it as, you know, protecting the peace. And it actually is not true that way. When you go back to your first journeys as a younger child, or maybe as a teen or an adolescent, I want you to ask yourself, was there ever a time that I felt neglected? Every single one of you that is listening to this video, it's a full yes, because every single one of us have had that experience. It might have not been a capital T trauma or a small t trauma, or maybe whatever it is that may have happened of what we think it is, but every single one of us have experienced a sense of neglect at some point of our life journey. And the reason why I'm saying this is because that creates what we think are boundaries. Neglect wounds, which is usually misunderstood as abuse, tends to be an area where this new moon, because we can't see it, you know, it's bringing out, you know, this nesting, this time for us to go inwards, this time for us to really focus on our relations with our family, our friends, and those closest to us, and also those that impacted us the most, even if they aren't in our life. So this is a really important time to tune into, what does the word comfort mean to you? Are you comfortable and mistaking it as peace? Or is comfort a way of you bypassing what you need to feel in your spiritual journey, in your life journey, in the ceremony of life? And where can I understand in myself how to look at the tools that I have, the values, the practices that can support me to feel nourished and to actually move that neglect that I've experienced in the past through my experiences, memories, emotions with family, friends, those closest to me, and asking myself, how can I bring compassion and actually bringing, you know, attention to self? And this is what this Cancer new moon, it's about loving self, it's about nourishing self, it's about learning how to love yourself and being open to the unseen world to guide you through that. Which brings me to the second thing you need to know about this Cancer new moon that is happening on July 5th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, and how it will affect you. Emotional fluctuations linked back to family and wounds and attachments. So whenever we look at the chakra system, which every single one of us have a chakras in our body, right? We start with the root, which is at the tailbone. We go into the sacral, your belly button, the solar plexus, your upper belly, and then the heart. Now, the heart is something, and it's interesting because I was just going over this with my Divine Dharma participants, and they did a training on Reiki and understanding the chakras. And one of the things I'll share with you with this Cancer new moon, there's a deep highlight about emotional attachments. What are you attached to with the idea of comfort in life? What are the things that are being asked of us to let go of and to not hold it as a burden in our life anymore? This Cancer new moon is actually quite a freeing and quite a nourishing space where we're learning how do we feel to receive nourishment? How do we feel to receive attention to self? This is all coming from you. So where we learn that is through our family and friends. Look and think about when you were a little child, with mom and dad, or with a guardian, or whoever the adults were in your life, right? Was there a sense of emotional fluctuations in the surroundings? Was there a sense of you being in a home where there was a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on? Was there even a space for you to emotionally process what you needed to process? And is there a place as you're listening to this right now for this Cancer new moon where there may be like a bit of like tingling in the body, right? When I'm speaking to you right now, where do you feel that in your body? Just say it out loud right here. Now, when you connect to that area of the body, for this new moon, I want you to tune into what is the belief that you created because of this emotion that was in process. Maybe take a few deep breaths, nice and gently into the body, connecting with the body and really tuning into where that is. Our bodies are our maps. Our bodies is our blueprint. It holds the spirit of our soul. And when we feel detachment from self, that's usually a sense of numbing of a wound or an attachment, right? Because it didn't have a space, it was neglected. Not that you meant for it to be neglected, maybe you just didn't have the spaciousness. So that's why I always share with people, especially when they come to plant medicine retreats or when they go and do healings or body work with me, I always tell them one of the biggest things and what this Cancer new moon is highlighting is that I see every person as their child self. We are all children in adults' bodies. And when we can understand emotionally, what were the fluctuations in our environment and what did that teach us about ourselves and our emotions, we can then get to the root of letting that go and actually coming into peace of self, peace of these emotions. We're not changing them. We're not judging them. We're understanding them. We're becoming students of our own inner templates. Cancer new moon is teaching you to nourish that inner template, to get to know who you are behind that. And, you know, our families, look at mom and dad, look at your guardians, whoever took care of you. Whoever took care of them also has a story. Whoever took care of them also taught them fluctuations, or there were fluctuations in their emotions. Even if you don't know their story right now, even if you don't talk to them or you've never met them before, it's understanding that we, each and every single one of us, have an idea of comfort because of where they were also neglected as their younger self. So you can see how this Cancer new moon is really highlighting the nourishment generationally with this healing. It's teaching you that you are learning new values and beliefs within yourself that maybe was never even considered or even understood or even had a spaciousness to because of the stories of your ancestors. So this moon is bringing in this deep, deep love, self-awareness, self-embodiment. And you're integrating that and creating new beliefs and values in your everyday practices, which is the opportunity that this Cancer new moon on July 5th, 2024, 3 days before and the day of, have to give you. Which bring me to the next part as far as when we look at attachments, emotions, the heart chakra, feeling safe within ourselves, which is really what this Cancer new moon is really highlighting, and that is forgive and let go. Now, one of the biggest things, part of forgiving, which I'm sure every single one of us have had this experience where we're constantly going through this healing portal, this healing process with a past lover or a family member or ourselves. And when we hit those spaces, one of the reasons why people have a hard time forgiving is they forget this very important step, and it is acceptance. It's accepting the fact that maybe there is a part of me that is numbing something. It is accepting the part that maybe there is a part of me that I'm not allowing to see here. It's accepting the fact that maybe there is a part of me I am celebrating, or I'm shifting in my generation, a different pattern within myself. There's a part of me of acceptance. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what part of you has accepted this comfort of self? What part of you has accepted whatever that is that's coming up right now as we're chatting? Right? The next part is understanding to ask yourself this question. That acceptance, what part of that emotion do you feel like you want to tune into and lean into? When we can understand that and understand what is the belief systems around that acceptance, then we can step into the next step of healing, which is forgiveness. We can then give permission to let go of that and to let something else come through, that the unseen can support us to meet that frequency of which we're stepping into. So that is all within. It's nothing that you gain. It's all just unmasked within ourselves, right? We are simply just onions peeling back and getting to the core root of the center bulb of the onion, right? We're simply just the center core of ourselves. And that's why I always tell people, one of my biggest missions is tuning in and letting people know that when we do our healing, it goes back to our hearts and our sacral and our wombs, right? Because when you are a young being in your consciousness, you are whole, and there's nothing in you that questions that. And when we tune into forgiveness and letting go, the same thing happens to those who walked before you. So Cancer New Moon is a reclamation of forgiveness. It's a reclamation of giving yourself permission to let go of the burdens that are not nourishing yourself. It's to let go of the abandonment. It's to let go of the neglect. This is one of the biggest things that are highlighted during this Cancer New Moon. And to shift that into joy, to shift that into safetyness, to shift that into happiness. And when we can offer that and start the journey with these moon cycles, that's why I love that we have this opportunity every single month to start new beginnings and to let go of things. Starting new beginnings with the new moon, letting go for the full moons, right? And this is also a reminder that don't let the cause of into sadness. Don't let these causes. You know, one of the things that one of the participants said this past retreat, and that is so beautiful for this Cancer New Moon, is they were saying that a certain type of jewelry, nickel, gives them rashes, right? And they had nickel in their hair. And one of the things they were saying is they know that this nickel is not good for me, but I'm comfortable with the pain. And sometimes we have this experience that we're comfortable with whatever that is. It could be the pain, the sadness, the bypassing, the numbing, the illusion, the disconnection, whatever it is, we're comfortable with that. And we've now claimed that as nourishment. We've now claimed that as taking care of yourself. But really, that's all that we know, because that's all we've been taught. That's all that our ancestors have been taught. That's all that was around us. So part of our healing journey is reclaiming and letting that go so it doesn't create deep depression, which is depression, right? Deep sadness. The deep pressures of yourself, feeling that you need to break free from this comfort of pain, that you know deep inside of you, whatever it is, which you only know, I don't know, whatever it is causing you to not feel happy or joyful, but yet you sit here and you hold yourself in that pain. So I want to ask you this next question. For this Cancer New Moon that's happening July 5th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, how important is it for you to let go of that pain? How important is it for you to feel free? How important is it for you for the next generation, your children? How important is it for you that the pain and the suffering that your past generation has gone through to not hold that anymore? Because that is not yours to carry. So Cancer New Moon is such a reclamation of understanding that you have a choice. You always had a choice, but then you're kind of having this eureka moment where it's like, I really do have a choice, and it's up to me to make those decisions. And this is why this new moon is a great time to really tune into and reflect with intention while weaving with the unseen messages, whether that's angel numbers, which we'll get into numerology in a bit, whether that is connecting with your dreams, seeing things, feeling things, sensing things, connecting with your intuition, and letting that go and saying that I do have permission within myself to do so. That's why I always tell people, it's like, I'm just a flashlight, you're healing yourself. That's the way that this world works, right? It's you that has that power. It's you that can step into that with your heart. So why would you want to hold that suffering? It's not yours to hold. It's not yours to hold. But if you choose for it to be, then you'll keep holding it for lifetimes to come. So again, it's a freeing of nourishment. You're really getting to understand during this Cancer New Moon, what does it actually mean to fill my cup? What does it actually mean to be in peace? What does it actually mean to be happy, joyful, and to let go of these burdens and that version of me that feels that abandonment and neglect, that I can let that go and I can fill my cup with things that are on the other side of that. And if you're sitting here and you're like, Shika, I don't know how to, just simply say, Spirit, show me how. Come to your heart, ask yourself, show me how. And Cancer new moon will show you lovingly with that grandmother moon energy will show you. And with that, you will go into the space and the space and the path of which is really calling you right now. This brings me to the next thing you need to know about this Cancer new moon, July 5th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. Hold all the medicine that I've shared with you so far. Let that rumble. Let the emotions come in. If you want to share in the comments what's coming up, please do. I love reading them. Reminder, avoidance versus boundaries. Let's get into this. So this Cancer new moon is really teaching us, because new moons are all about setting new intentions, new beliefs, all the things, right? So reminder, avoidance is neglected mood, right? So when you're avoiding something, you're neglecting something. There's something that you are feeling the sense of not wanting to see, not wanting to feel, not wanting to recognize. Versus boundaries, which is knowing your needs and expressing them and communicating them. So a lot of people actually think avoidance is creating boundaries. And a lot of people think boundaries are neglect. And it's important to know the difference. So really asking yourself, what are the things I'm avoiding right now because I'm comfortable avoiding with it? Be truthful to yourself. There's no judgment here. And then also, what are the boundaries that I want to learn how to create or I want to set for myself that are non-negotiable for myself right now in this journey, in this present moment? This is what's going to help you deeply in your journey. Now let's get into the numerology meaning, the angel number meaning of this Cancer new moon that is happening on July 5th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, and how it will affect you. So how I get this number is I actually add the month, the day, and also the year. When we add it all together, usually I like to do the 2-digit one as well as the 1-digit one, especially when it's a master number. So here we have the number 20 when we add that together. And 20 means time to get out of the way and let spiritual realms support you in your healing. How many times do we go into a space where we think that we know something, or that we're scared of what's to come, or we're in the void or the uncertainty? And can I just share that that is the most powerful experience and space you could be in? Because when you start to accept that, you're accepting something that is so much better for you that you might not even be aware of. And plants, the benevolent ancestors, I say benevolent because I'll be honest, not everything is benevolent, right? That is the truth here. So whenever you open space, just a little tip with healing or when you're doing your meditations, always say benevolent guides, beings, angels, ancestors, so they can support you at the highest. And this is what they're asking you. They're saying that call in the benevolent ancestors, the plants, plant allies, the guides to support you right now. Because the veil is so thin 3 days before the day of and 3 days after, they're giving you deep healing that is on a different realm. And just be aware of how you feel when you wake up in the morning. Notice how you feel before you go to bed. Notice the shifts, because you're getting a lot of light body upgrades to support you around the ancestral blueprint programming that you have in your being that is held within your body. You might not even be aware of, but it will speak to you subconsciously. And that's why I always share with people, if you don't remember your dreams, it's okay. You know, just come back to that feeling. What do you feel like when you wake up? And just trust that the work has been done, and it will work for you in the conscious realm as much as it is on the subconscious. Remember, we're over 80% subconscious. So it's all the things we don't think about, which actually impacts everything in our life, right? The next thing also with the number 20 is also talking about, where do you lack trust in the divine realm? Has there been a part of you, be honest, where you lack this trust? Where do you feel that that lack is? Maybe it could have been that lack that I asked for this and I manifested and it never came. You know, maybe it's a lack that, you know, I've gone through so much and look at where I am now. You know, be honest with yourself. Where do you lack divine support? Now ask yourself, where do you lack trust in yourself equally? It is a mirror to you as it is to the reality. You create your reality, you create your choices, you create the connection of all things and the universe. So what are some questions you can ask self to support you and your practice of harmony with the unseen and the mystery, which is life? Is there something that I can do in my everyday life that can support me? I remember one thing I used to do that really supported me around abundance is I took $100 bill and put it in my pocket, and I would go to the store and say, I can buy that, I can buy that, I can buy that. It sounds so simple, but me actually holding and anchoring this medicine, and even just like on days when I would forget that $100 bill is there. And what I was starting to do is I started to bring in this trust of like being able to receive that and being able to get comfortable with it. You know, the same thing with spirit. Whenever I was really uncertain with things, I would just say, you know, I just trust it will happen. I'm going to just show up the best I can right now to meet whatever is meant for me on the right path. And literally instantly, I would get the divine help, the support I need. So if you're lacking any trust in the unseen, that is also lacking trust in the seen. They are mirrors of each other. So this is an opportunity for you to really receive some downloads to support you on practices that can help you really trust and surrender in the unseen, especially when we're letting go of attachments. Part of letting go of attachments is this need for our human to be proven that it will work. And the answer is like, I always tell people that our little humans, we forget that we're part of something so much deeper and bigger. And a lot of the times we want to be shown something to take the leap. And the cosmic joke is like, you're never shown that it's definite. It's not definite that that result will happen. But it is definite if you say it is so and you create that energy towards it. But you need to co-create with the spirit, with the divine, with the unseen. If you're sitting here and you're wondering why I haven't been able to receive X, Y, Z or be here, and you're still writing the same thing, as I mentioned to one of the participants at the retreat, you're still writing the same thing on your journal. And you're like, why am I still here? Because there might be still resistance that is wanting to be seen. And you're choosing maybe to have a blind eye or not to look at it. And to give yourself compassion when you anchor those spaces, when you do lean into that resistance. Because when you can do that, then you're giving your younger self some love to open up and to share with you what is that resistance, what is that attachment, what is that fear, and to therefore step into that joy and happiness, forgiveness for self, and open up more to your relations, because usually the sense of neglect also impacts the way we are in our relationships. We neglect people, we avoid, we hide, we isolate. Those are all ways that we stay in our comfort because we're scared. We don't want people to see that. Right? We don't want to be seen in that space, right? So deepest compassion to you and your younger self as you move through this deep opening of letting go of these attachments, letting go of all the confusion and stepping into the truth, because that is the most important thing. Now, when we add the number 20, we get 2, which is the next number of this numerology, as well as the angel number for the Cancer new moon. And if you're seeing the number 20 and 2, let this be a reminder for you 3 days before the day of and 3 days after that it may be linked to this moon energy. So you are seeing clearly and what is aligned and what isn't aligned for you. You're at this point of your journey for a lot of us during this Cancer new moon where we're seeing it so clearly. Now, instead of making hasty reaction decisions, tuning into seeing it with love, both sides, and that we're not judging one or the other. The best way of explaining it that I explained to someone recently is I said, you know, they were explaining about high level and lower level energy. And I know on this path, when we're with family and loved ones and partners, it can be really hard for us to bring nourishment to these relationships when we feel like we're awakening. Now, one of your biggest initiations in this process is knowing that imagine you and all the people that you love and all the people that are in your life that are connected to you are running a marathon. And everyone is getting to the finish end. But some of you are a little behind, some of you are at the same pace, some of you are ahead. Now, it doesn't mean one person's first place, second place, third place. There's no place. We all get to the destination. But it's a choice of, you know, if we want to sit there and stand, if we want to walk, if we want to run, if we want to complain about how long the journey is, if we want to keep looking back at the journey, that is up to us, right? The same thing with your ancestors. They also walked that marathon of life. They experienced it. They ran it. They stopped at some points. But every single time, it's understanding that they see clearly that we are starting this journey. There is a beginning, there is an end, and in the human, and there is an eternal, both ways, right? And it's up to you to choose what you experience. You can either see that the journey will continue with you regardless and resist the journey that's here, or you can have a very nourished, joyful journey. It is up to you to choose that. But you are seeing so clearly that everyone's on the marathon. And there's this deep forgiveness that you can see when you start to not put people on a pedestal, lower people on their pedestal, put them on any pedestal at all, and removing from that attachments, right? And those labels, and to just see someone in this loving way. And that can allow you to have a much smoother integration throughout your spiritual journey, your self-development, this life journey. And this also brings me to the next meaning of 2, which is center yourself in the truth. However, honor the energies of others with forgiveness and peace. Okay, at the end of the day, it's okay to say, I love you, but I don't like what you're sharing and I don't align with what you're sharing, right? It's okay to have that. We're not asking for everyone to do that, but what we are asking is this deep respect and understanding that there's a difference between ignoring someone out of neglect back because you've been neglected and that shadow comes out or avoidance comes out, as opposed to the Cancer new moon bringing this awareness of like, okay, I see this trigger, I see this and I honor this, and I see where this person's coming from. And I ask you, whenever you get triggered, to look at that person as their little version of themselves. Because when you do that, it opens them up to see, wow, okay, you and I am you. And it brings a deep love. It doesn't, again, puts us back on that marathon. We're all walking, we're all running, we're all stopping at some points. And we're going to have different journeys, but we know there's a continuum, there's a beginning, there's an end, and there's an in-between. And honoring that, to tune into your truth, tune into your peace, instead of tuning into avoidance and, attachments, move that to forgiveness, acceptance, and peace. What do these words mean to you, right? Because everyone is different. When you tune into those words, those frequencies of these words, what does it mean to you? Does it mean acceptance as in love? Does this mean acceptance as in pain? What does that mean to you? Explain that to me, okay? And the last thing I want to share about the number 2 numerology and the angel number 2 and how this relates to the Cancer new moon is that know that when you do this, make room for the good things to come in. When you let go of that, when you forgive, when you accept, when you see the lesson, you are now receiving something new that you can't even see, that the unseen has for you. Right? I saw this picture of this guide. It was a cartoon, and he's holding a teddy bear behind him, and this little girl has a small teddy bear, and he's like, trust me, give me the teddy bear and you'll get a gift. And she's like, well, like, how do I know? And you can see behind him he has this huge, beautiful teddy bear. And I guess what the meaning of that, the metaphor of that, is saying that like Spirit's trying to give you something bigger and something deeper that will support you in everything you're asking and some. But if you reject it because it doesn't look what it's supposed to look like, or it's not in the future reality, and you don't go into those inclinings, how can you create that? How can you continue the journey? How can you even start the journey? So again, it's allowing yourself to be open, not to neglect yourself, to neglect divine. Because when you neglect divine, you neglect self. Right? So to look at the two things, because they are very much connected. So now we're going to go into the plant medicines that are best to work with for this Cancer new moon that is happening on July 5th, 2024, 3 days before the day of and 3 days after. You all know, if you are interested in exploring and experiencing a beautiful plant medicine retreat, you can go and apply down below. And if you are a good fit, we will reach out to you and do the screening process. We have some beautiful medicine retreats that are happening Costa Rica, Peru, Brazil, with some amazing plant medicines. They have literally made me come on this path, and I do feel like plant medicines right now are more than important than ever, and to do it in community with other people is such a gift. So if you are interested, or you feel this curiosity, go and check out my website, and you can go and apply there. And I hope to see you in a plant medicine experience and to support you on your journey. So the first plant is the chamomile. This is a very common plant. You can find it in teas, which is what we're going to work with today. And chamomile is the little yellow, like little white and yellow flowers. They're so beautiful, and they're really great for calming. Now, in relationship to the Cancer new moon, it lets the mind rest and allows you to come back into harmony, which is really great to use at night before you sleep. You can connect with this medicine ally to support and bring the intention into the waters and into the tea to calm and rest the mind, so the benevolent beings can do their work in your sleep time. This also clears the third eye and insight. So if there is a part of you that maybe is feeling that bypassing or attachment or avoidance, or maybe you feel like you're still on the hamster wheel a little bit with your practices, this is going to support you. It's going to allow you to see a bigger picture and really align and support you with this. So a great way that you can use this again and support this for the third eye is actually making a tea. You can also make it in an oil form, a beautiful tinctured oil form. Put a little bit on your third eye before you go to bed and just massaging it. And then you can go to sleep and it'll open up the third eye as well, while bringing healing and protective properties. The next part about the chamomile medicine and how it will support you for this Cancer new moon is it supports strained muscles, diarrhea, and IBS. So when we look at the solar plexus, it's related to who am I? It's my power, it's my being, it's self-confidence. And a lot of the time, sometimes a lot of people's attachments come from the sense of self, right? We find out who we are with our environments. And sometimes these emotions, and I always say the stomach is the brain of the body, it's the emotional storage of the body. This is where we hold a lot of our emotional attachments. So this will be very supportive if you are someone that is noticing 3 days before the day of or 3 days after that you're getting a lot of stomach issues or maybe stomach or bowel issues. This will really support and clear and cleanse. It's also going to help with any straining of the muscles, so straining of the shoulders, of the burdens holding ancestrally, to clear and cleanse that. Chamomile, I feel like, is one of those plants that are overlooked. It is so powerful. And as far as the Cancer new moon, it really brings this relaxation, inner peace to the spirit, and allows you to tune in and to be in a restful place so you can sleep, so you can rest, so you can go inwards, because you find answers in solitude. That's so important. This is one of the biggest reasons why I find personally solitude, I'm not just talking about meditation quickly, solitude is the silence of self and to be with self. That is the deepest way that you can really get your healing, is to actually listen to self and not to push it down or not to avoid it or not to just skip it, to listen and to really listen. And it's like looking at a tree in your backyard every day, and you would notice something different from that same tree because your perspective is different every single day and you are shifting as the tree every single day. So chamomile brings this calming, it releases any strains of the body, any excess muscles that you're overusing, to let that go and to bring you back into harmony and balance. Which brings me to the second plant, which I'm actually really excited to share because I've been feeling the spirit of this plant, and a lot of my amazing communities have been sitting with this plant, and this is rose. So I don't know if you are connected with rose. Every rose has a different energy, frequency, and rose I love. I work with rose a lot for womb, sacral healing. I also work a lot with heart healing, and it is amazing on the physical level for diabetes, depression, stress, seizures, PMS, grief, and allows gentleness. So if you're on your bleed, this is great. If you're in grief, this is also great to bring some softness and gentleness to the heart, self-love to the heart. Diabetes, which is related to the heart chakra, if you didn't know, I would love to do a video all on diabetes. It's something that I help support other people do, is healing naturally with that as well. If you're interested in that, let me know down below. Any questions you have about diabetes, and maybe I'll do a video on that. That'd be really great. And also depression as well. It really helps with any pressures of the spirit that's causing sadness and grief, and to clear that. With this Cancer new moon, it really helps uplifting the soul. So uplifting your being, and a lot of the times when we're in comfort, people tend to be in that depressive space where they feel really low and feel this void. Depression is void, right? It's feeling a sense of lack of, feeling a sense of emptiness, right? Not joy and fulfillment in life. So rose actually helps enhance this fulfillment, brings you back, but it also, with that, it shows us where we're not fulfilled. So it helps us let go of what isn't fulfilled. So then the rose spirit, plant spirit, can come in and drop in our soul fulfillment in our being, showing us the truth of what is not allowing us to step into our true self and your power and your hope and your surrender, so then you can fully trust in divine, and in doing that you trust in self. I think we forget sometimes our own channel, which is why a lot of what I'm speaking to and connecting with us all here, I really bring in questions for you to take home, because you are so powerful, and to honor that power in yourself, to honor the channel that you are, so then you can allow the moods to support you, because your inner blueprint is so important. It is more important than anything. Any of the things I'm sharing here is just enhancing something within you, that you take what resonates and throw out what doesn't, but honoring that, and always listen to that. Bring joy to your spirit. So it also will bring you a lot of joy and a lot of just like like deep unconditional love. And I think the deepest healer for anything, the highest frequency, is that deep unconditional love, is that inner peace, and they go hand in hand. So you can work with rose as a tea, you can work as rose as a tincture. Again, I am a medicine guide. That's what I feel and I sense, but always consult with a physician to make sure there's no contradictions, as this is just me sharing with my love, with my heart. So these are all the things that I hope to bring to you. I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like I want to pull out some cards before we close this channel message. I'm just about to get ready for a call with one of you, which reminds me, if you are someone that resonates with sacral chakra blocks, or maybe reproductive issues, or maybe you've experienced abuse of any sort, please send me an email, because I have something really exciting coming up, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I want to hear your story. I want to hear what are the problems you're experiencing. I want to hear what are the things that are coming up for you. And if you're someone that feels called to step into your power, into your inner healer, and connect and heal with nature and plant medicine, please give me an email and let me know that you watched this video. Okay, so we have I think there's one more card that we have here. Ooh, this is a pile, so let's get into this Cancer new moon. Okay, come on. So we have 3 cards that came out. The first one is Hermit. And this card is just basically saying that this is a time for you to go inwards, focus on your inner channel. So then you can allow yourself to activate with the collective and the channel within the unseen. This is retreat and recharge. So understanding to learn how to healthily retreat and recharge, not to avoid, right? So going inwards, taking care of yourself, nourish yourself, get a good meal going, doing your practice, getting yourself moving. What are things that fill your soul up with joy and happiness? Do more of that. Seer, which is see beyond the current situation. So again, going back to how much do you trust the unseen? How much do you trust what you can't see right now? Because a lot of the times we get so attached to what we can see and what is here and what is our reality, and we actually forget that there is so much more that we would be able to see if we were to lean in the unseen. We sometimes use this part as a protecting mechanism a lot of the times, and this is a beautiful tool, but when you use it in a way to protect what you need to feel, that can actually disconnect your whole lower chakras, your whole lower body. And that also disconnects our emotions, our attachments, our creativity, our safety. That's all here, right? Our throat, our voice. So that's majority of our chakra system. We also have the shaman, which is trust your higher forces. So again, this is an opportunity for you to work on practicing. You know, I was just mentioning to people that at the retreat, I said, hey, you want to practice your gifts? You got to practice, right? Every day I practice. I do videos here and I do healings with you and retreats, but I also create space to practice and do my routine, and it's non-negotiable. That's a boundary that I need to do in order for me to do my work and to be a clean vessel. So what can you do right now to be more committed to yourself and your journey and your gifts and the higher forces? Because all the answers are inside of you. I can't stress this enough. And you hear that more, the more solitude you have, the more quiet and silence that you're able to access in that. So I hope you enjoyed this amazing channeled reading on the Cancer new moon and all that the channels have shared. I always say I'm just a vessel here. And let me know down below what resonated for you, what attuned to you, what you felt came through with your heart. Maybe you're feeling things move just by receiving this. And I would love to see you at one of the plant medicine retreats. We have some beautiful ones, Costa Rica next year, as well as Peru, Brazil. So go and check out the website. We would love to see you at the plant medicine retreats, and I'm collaborating with some amazing medicine carriers. And it's such an honor to bring us together to heal, because that is so important. And again, if you're interested in sacral healing, reproductive healing, and stepping into healing naturally with physical elements, emotionally, mentally, and all layers generationally, please email me. And for all my programs, one-on-ones, all the things, courses, you can go to my website and check it out. And don't forget to come July 5th, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Breathwork, the Cancer New Moon Breathwork. I'm so excited. It's my last one till I go to Peru, guys. I'm going to Peru soon. I'm super excited, familia. So much to share with you on that when I get back. But I would love for you to come and to enjoy this breath work. So, and do it with community. I have so much fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put notification bells if this is what your heart feels called to do. And have a beautiful Cancer new moon. I will see you in the next video. Ciao, bye.